How you guys doing? What's up, guys?
How's it going there? Good to
Oh
see
man,
you.
so I'm gonna actually start sharing this to different places. So for those who are watching right now, just hang tight. We got some big news here, but as I'm doing this and as Doc is doing this, um, we're gonna tell you a little bit more. So let me go ahead and start sharing these to different pages, groups.
I think this is worthy news of sharing to multiple pages, my friend. So good to have it.
Okay, so hold on here. I want to share this in the Nifty, and Doc's gonna share it into TBOD. Here we go. All right, we got that.
That's where we need like Chris playing his guitar here at the beginning of this live.
All right, hang tight here.
All right, I'm about to share it to Clinical Mastery Group as well.
Perfect. I'm glad you guys are handling this side of it because I would be messing this up entirely if I was in charge of that.
We've got you to be the pretty boy, man. That's, that's why you can't see my picture. I'm hiding here.
You're hiding.
All right, guys, I think we are live in the groups.
Because I would be messing this up entirely.
Sorry about that. I was checking to see if that it was working, and then it was the recording because it's going live now. Okay, so it's live in the group, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had to coordinate things because there's two groups that are involved, and we're sharing in there, guys. If you can hear us, do me a favor, just type in the comments section hello. We got some big news here, and again, I see a lot of people starting to jump on here, so that's pretty awesome there. So we got something really big to talk about. But Joe, let you start, man, so that I can make sure everything is streaming okay. Just
Yeah.
talk about like what motivated you to start helping out dentists with a doctor's edge, and then Chris will talk about how we all came together. And while you're doing that, I'm going to make sure everyone's watching here.
For sure. No, this is cool. So yeah, I kind of got new to the social media world, a little over a year ago, actually it was. And, a lot of people very familiar with here on the, on both of your guys' groups. And, I was fortunate enough to have, a nice little business out here in Utah. And so what I was able to do is I had 8 different practices. 6 of them were general dental practices. 2 of them were orthodontic practices. Some of them were scratch start practices. Some of them were acquisitions, and just build it up. And I wanted to always get to the point with my business where that freedom of selling or the freedom of keeping the practice was always an option, right? I mean, we had at any given time, there was about 14 or 15 associates. We had about 25 that had come through our program. I myself am a dentist, and so when a private buyer, actually I had multiple private buyers. There was one private buyer that wanted to buy the whole thing, but then there was a couple people that didn't want to actually join partnerships with him. And so I had a couple of my associates actually ended up purchasing a couple of the other practices. So there was actually 4 private buyers that allowed me to exit back in 2019. So before kind of all this hit. And wasn't really sure what I wanted to do afterwards. I knew that not working was not an option for me. I mean, I've always enjoyed this kind of thing. So that's when I jumped onto your guys' groups. And what I figured I would do at that point was just start offering all the systems, all the things that we use to make our practices successful. And, I was watching some of the advice that was giving. There was a lot of great advice, but there was a lot of like really bad advice that wouldn't actually provide results that people were looking for. And so I'm like, well, heck, here's some of the systems that we use in our practice. And so I never dreamed of getting into the coaching world, never dreamed of getting into the consultant. In fact, I kind of prided myself on being more of an anti-consultant. I did have some great mentors and coaches along the way. And so, just from my experiences with, my entrepreneurship, with my dental practices, I felt like it would just be great information to share. And as I started sharing more and more information, I started getting a lot of outreach from people, requesting more information, coaching, different things like that. Started talking to you guys a little bit more about some of the things that you were doing. And so what I wanted to do was originally just like, hey, you know what? Here's everything. Here's our systems. Here's all the stuff. Let's put it in one easy course. Let's make it super easy for people. And I launched that back in August of last year. So that was the 1 week dental MBA. That course took off like wildfire. It was fantastic. Had so much support from a ton of people. There was it was more of that do it yourself. Again, I wasn't getting into the coaching world so much as I just wanted to be able to help people, and, didn't need to make really any money off of it or anything. It was more just to kind of cover the cost sides of things. And there was just more and more questions that came, more and more things like, hey, how do we do this? How do we help from here? How do we get this stuff? And so started talking to you guys, a little bit more, and just ways that, we could maybe even help the community even further. And so that was kind of like the quick rundown of how, these initial meetings came into place, like in the, coming onto the social media world. I wasn't a social media influencer by any means. I was just a guy that I was in your groups and just had some, valuable information to share. And so just started talking a little bit more to you guys about how we could help more of the community and what we could do. And then we just kind of started brainstorming together. So I don't know how far you want me to go with this here, Glenn, by any means. I wanted to
I think that's a pretty good start. Again, I'm going to let Doc Hoffpauir here kind of talk about like why we transitioned into this project, and then I'll kind of tie up and add some of the details too. So Doc, why don't you talk about like, what we decided to do as far as creating this program.
So guys, for quite a number of years, I've had people ask me, hey, why don't you teach? Why don't you lecture? Why don't you go on the road? And it's just never been a thing that I wanted to do. In fact, consulting was probably one of the last things I wanted to do. Kind of in the back of my mind, I've always had that thought of those who can do and those who can't consult. And, I remember about a year ago, now Glenn and I have been friends for several years, and I remember about a year ago, Joe Maio reached out to me. Joe, you just reminded me, I think I had like silenced you in the group or something because you were you were tearing somebody up, and I said, dude, you got to calm it down, be nice to people.
You were nice to me from the very beginning and stuff. So no, it was good. I think the first time we talked, Chris, there was probably about a 2 or 3 hour conversation.
Oh, at least 2 or 3 hours. I found out about the murder charges, if I remember right.
Yeah. Not to me. It was an old business partner of mine. So yeah. In fact, I brought that up at the Dental Win-Win when I was speaking with Nathan Ho not too long ago.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's a great story. But, so basically all the three of us, we sit here and we have a lot of the same frustrations because you see so much bad advice being given out, and some of it people are paying to get, and it's offensive because when you've actually built successful practices, it doesn't work because you've tried it and you've failed yourself. And we kind of got to the point where it was almost kind of a halfway dare. We'd say something and we'd look at something that someone had said on one of the groups, and we'd gripe about it. And the joke was, well, maybe we should just go become consultants. And one day, I think it was Glenn who said, what would that look like? And everyone kind of got quiet. We're like, you serious? And he said, no, I think it's time. Chris, you and I have transitioned pretty much out of our practices. I own 2 practices in partnership with MB2. Glenn owns one huge practice out in Dallas, Flower Mound actually. And, and Joe had his 8 practices, transitioned out of it. And we're sitting there, we're talking. And one day Glenn just kind of basically dared us. And he said, what do we need to do to make this happen? Let's share some of our knowledge. Because if we're sitting on the sidelines complaining about people giving bad advice, we're just as bad. And he dragged me kicking and screaming into this, but it's been kind of fun developing this with you guys. Glenn? Tag, it's your turn, buddy.
Yeah. So again, for everyone who's watching now, thank you so much. We actually have a lot of viewers right now, so I'm really happy that you guys got the posts. And again, I went ahead and put the link to the course so that you can kind of start looking at it while I'm talking. But essentially, what we wanted to do is, there's a lot of coaching programs out there that are good, some good, and some really bad. Okay. And what we wanted to do is, if for the doctors that want to jump on and work with us, we wanted to give you something where you get results very quickly. And so we talked about what is something like a launch pad, right? What would a launch pad look like? When you think about a launch pad, you think about a rocket ship, it's just flying up into the atmosphere, right? So we wanted to give you tools and training that can skyrocket, can propel your practice in a very short amount of time. So if you think about like a boot camp, when you join a boot camp, you join a boot camp because you want to kickstart your fitness regimen, right? This is what's going to do. And then we picked three specific things that I'm actually going to talk about what I'm focusing on. We'll go to Chris and then we'll end with Joe here. But we picked three things that we knew that we could teach, that we could show you, anybody. Now, this is not for fee-for-service practice. This is not for PPO practices. This is not for practice owners who are natural born leaders. This is not for practice owners who are introvert. This is for everybody. And that's the thing. What we found really irritating was that when dentists didn't get results, naturally, the consultant would say, it's your fault. You're not a good leader. Oh, it's your practice, your PPO practice. Oh, you're a fee-for-service practice. You need to take there's always a freaking excuse, okay? So again, we picked three things that will work with every single type of practice. And to be honest, the three of us represent that. I have a PPO heavy practice. Doc has a fee-for-service practice. Joe actually had a big mixture of practices, but he had multiple practices. So between the three of us, we've done it. And again, we get so many people, whether it's in our Facebook groups, whether it's in Clubhouse, always telling me, man, I really need some help here. And, I don't have the money to pump in like $50,000 to do a year-long course, a year-long coaching program, and then find out near the end that it did nothing. We wanted to give you a small program, a short program, 3 months, right? 3 months, a launch pad to get you to where you need to go. So with that being said, what I'm focusing on is your overhead. What I'm focusing on is making sure you're paying the right amount for your supplies, for your services. I'm the Nifty Thrifty guy. I got all the deals there, and I'm going to make sure you get the very best deals, because my goal is to help you save so much money that it actually pays for this program. But I'm not just going to stop there. Staffing is a big issue right now, right? Staff pay and all those different things. And if we have a way to make sure that we keep our team happy, but make sure that we are also profitable as well, that's a win-win. And again, that's what I'm going to do. So again, right off the bat, I want to help you with your overhead. I want to help you with your staff pay. And that right there is going to save you a lot of money. And then Doc is going to take, again, that first month is me, and Doc is going to teach the next month. And Doc, I'll let you talk about what you're going to do.
So guys, each of us has spent literally, I know, over $100,000 myself in training to develop these skills. Glenn, I think you were just born out of the womb saving money. Probably negotiated the hospital bills. But in all seriousness, we spent a lot of money to learn the things that we know. And in every course that we took, there were some things that we took away that were better than others. And every single course had gems. What I'm trying to do is distill those gems down and help you to learn how to communicate better. Better communication is going to lead to better team relationships. It's going to lead to better patient understanding, and it's going to lead to higher close rates on your treatment plans. Because whenever you communicate effectively, you also have to understand the person you're talking to. I'm also going to teach you some tricks, words to use, words not to use, some techniques for putting a patient at ease from the beginning whenever they walk through your doors of your practice until you finish the work. And pretty much that's all there is in a nutshell. It's a lot more than it sounds. I think we could probably teach a year course just on communications and case closing. And that's going to lead us into what Joe is going to teach you about.
Yeah, no, that's great. And, coming into that like third and month of the Launchpad, Glenn and Chris are going to set you guys up for a ton of success. And, you know, I, I feel very passionate about all these areas. I mean, there's so many particular areas that people can learn in their practices that would bring about results. But as Glenn said at the very beginning, we wanted to pick the best things that could bring the most immediate results right away. Because if we're doing our jobs properly, we're teaching you things to where you don't need us anymore. Okay. What I see with these consultant groups is they want to like give you just enough just to kind of do it, but makes you feel like you have to stay on there. Like I firmly believe that if consultants are doing their jobs correctly, they're trying to put their own selves out of business. Okay. Now, I'm not a DSO guy. There's great organizations that are out there. There's great DPO models. There's great things. If I had one goal for this entire program, it would be for, as Glenn was kind of already alluding to, any and everyone could use these programs to be successful, even the solo providers. I don't want people, I mean, look, it's getting to the point where insurance reimbursements are lower. It's getting to the point where DSOs are coming in and taking more of their fair share that they don't really need to be doing. And the solo providers actually getting a little bit left behind. So if there's a way that we can actually help people not only like compete on a corporate level, but they can even use these if a group practice is their particular model. If we can help them have the systems in place, and again, it's not a one size fits all by any means, but it's certainly a program that can be utilized in any type of practice: ortho practice, pedo practice, DSO practice, solo practice, like all of these individual things. And so what I'm going to cover in month 3 is I'm going to cover marketing and I'm going to cover numbers. Now, those are very broad types of categories. And so what I think specific is with your marketing, specifically internal marketing, how you can utilize your entire team and your patient base to become this huge marketing army for your practice. And so how to ask properly for referrals, how to implement VIP programs, how to get your team to, track these things properly. But then in addition to that, we've talking about like marketing and operations and how they're playing together. What are the analytics behind a business, a dental practice business? It can get very, very overwhelming. All of the information that people throw at you, like you got to track this, you got to do this, you got to do this. Look, as a dentist, it's hard enough. And so to have to wear 6, 7, 8 different hats at once, it's impossible. I pride myself on simplicity. And if I can give you guys in month 3, literally hey, this is what we tracked in our practice. This is what we did. These are the numbers that you should be looking at daily. These are the numbers that you should be looking at monthly. That's going to give you more than enough information to either incorporate into your practice, to your own software. All these non-dentists that are out there coming and saying you should be tracking this. Look, at the end of the day, the 3 of us together, this is what's so unique about what we're doing here. All 3 of us are dentists. Dentists don't do what we're about to do here together. And the only reason why I can think of it is because for some reason, not enough people can drop their egos to get together and say, hey, how do we actually better our profession? Okay. We have our own unique experiences. We have, the different practices that we've had, and there's no other consulting program out there that can bring what we can bring together as a unified force. There just simply isn't. I've looked for them. I've had some great coaching programs, I've said, but again, not anything that like really brings all the results into one place. Because at the end of the day, you guys, if we've done our job properly, we've gotten you in a better position. You've gotten you in a better position to where you have that freedom and you can look at it and say, hey, I want to get on a path to where working is an option and not mandatory. I can look at selling if I want to sell. I don't have to sell. I can look at joining a DPO if I want to. Great. All of those things are totally up to you. But again, our mission is to literally take you from the place that you're at with your practice, learn from all the mistakes that we've made, the money that we've spent, and be able to take your practice to the next level with you. Because again, this is something, you know, it's not going to be for everybody. We don't want everybody in this program by any means. We only want the people who want to be looking for that freedom within their practice. And some people, you know, hey, they're starting off at the very beginning of their practice. They're looking for that launch pad, right? Like, hey, how do I get to this next level? Then, you know, what's next from there? You know, doing those things, who knows? But I'm really excited about what we're going to be offering here. So, you know, Glenn, take it away. Tell them more about like what we've got going here, and let's see, you know, how we can continue to help people here.
Hey guys, so what I want you to think about here is think about all the courses you've taken. Maybe you went through like some weekend seminars. Maybe you actually hired a consultant for the whole year, maybe half a year, right? Most consulting programs, when you hire for a year, it's about anywhere between 30 to 40,000. It's a huge commitment to find out later that it wasn't a good fit, right? Even if you do like a half year program at like 15,000, that's a lot of money, right? Now, you know, weekend courses, you go there, you pay about 4,000 to 5,000, you learn a lot, but then after that weekend, you're supposed to implement everything, right? And if you've been to those weekend seminars like I have, it's a lot of information to take in and then try to implement. And then after that, you're like, well, I need some more help. Oh, okay. By the way, if you want more help, sign up for a year-long program. What's unique about this is a 3-month program at the cost of a weekend program. And it's so massive value there. The three of us are coaching you. Here's the first month, okay, actually every single month you'll have 2 modules that you will watch on your own. It's kind of like your homework assignment, okay? Now we're gonna have a special Facebook group for all our members to be in there. So if you have questions, you'll have access to us to answer any questions. Then we do a live call where we bring everything together. We make sure you master these principles before you move on to the next month. What's so powerful about this is that we don't want a whole bunch of people in here. We want to help a lot of people, but we also understand that, well, we can only handle so many people. So these launch pads are limited to only 20 dentists. Only 20, okay? And the reason it is because that's what we can handle to give you the support that you need. Now, is this $10,000, this 3-month program? No. Is it 8,000, Doc? No.
If it was,
Joe, is it 6,000, Joe? For 3 months, is it 6,000?
No, Glenn, it's not.
No, it's not. What it's gonna be is $5,000 for 3 months of training and support.
Now wait a minute, Glenn. What if they sign up early?
Well, if you sign up early, again, I already put the link down there. We're gonna give you $500 off, $4,500 for 3 months of training. But not only 3 months of training, but 3 months of support. And again, we have support in the Facebook groups, watching the modules, our live calls. And again, this is a lot of support because we know, because I've been there before, you go through a weekend program, you pay $5,000, it's good stuff. And then after the weekend, you're on your own again. We realize that that is a flawed method. And that's why we wanted to do these launch pads. Chris, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just laughing to myself, thinking about the phenomenon of Wednesday morning. You bring in Monday morning, you come back from one of these weekend gigs, man, you're on fire. You want to implement all this stuff. You tell your team about it, and they're all groaning, and you hear one of them tell another one, don't worry, wait until Wednesday morning. He'll forget all about it. You know, this is not that kind of deal.
So guys, thank you for tuning in. Again, we have a lot of people watching, so thank you so much. Click the link below. Check out our page. Look at what the Launchpad is all about. If you have questions, reach out to any of us. But you know what? We do a clubhouse room every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Actually, we're about to come off and go over there. So for those who are watching, follow us to Clubhouse, okay? Because we have an amazing doctor there with an amazing issue in our inspiration chair. We're going to work through it. What is it, Doc? Let's give them a sneak preview.
Well,
is it the associates?
Like Ashley Marie is going to be coming on stage to talk about all of the problems she has had as an associate.
So join us there. But guys, click the link below. If you're jumping on later and you're watching this for the first time, click the link below. The Dental Launchpad. It's a 3-month program. It's a program unlike any other. And again, this is something we are going over the 3 top things that can automatically propel your practice to new heights. So, Joe, any last words, Doc? We got a clubhouse room to do, but I'll let you guys say the last few things and we're out of here.
I'm gonna throw this in without even discussing it with you guys. Guarantee if you guys don't like this program within the first month, 100% your money back guarantee. And you know what, Glenn and Chris, I hope that's okay with you. But literally, like if within the first little bit there, they're not liking it, we can talk about it and then get their money back right away. So Glenn, Chris.
Well, there you go. Joe said it online, on air, and it's true. Done. So again, you got a money back guarantee there. So guys, click that link. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.